Hello. Does anyone know what quantum physics is and what it means? Because I know I don't, but I talk about it all the time when I'm in arguments with atheists or whatever. I'm like, but quantum mechanics says this. But well, I could be right, but I highly doubt that I'm right in the specifics of the question. I mean, so what I'm really talking about with this question is, does anyone know anything about anything apart from like a few very special people who do the research and know by their own experience what the research is? And are we to trust scientists, the officials who like do the research? Because there are issues with this, because there is like the funding of this research is very dubious. You know, a lot of funding for SSRI medication is done by the pharmaceutical companies that produce the medicines. And you know, recent evidence has shown that there is no link between a lack of serotonin and depression. Yes, SSRIs can help, but not because the depressed brain has less serotonin than a non-depressed brain, but just because it wrecks your brain. It's like any euphoric drug, you know, which is why magic mushrooms, for example, also work 4 times more effectively and much longer in large doses under medical settings. So what's interesting is that no one really knows what's going on the entire way. And you could say, okay, well, I just trust the mainstream opinion. Let's just trust the mainstream opinion. But I just don't think that that's a good way to go about it. Now, I don't know what is a good way to go about it, because there's a lot to know and not a lot of time to know it. Like, if you're into music, for example, and you want to know everything there is to know about like music, like say music theory, to even get like a basic understanding of a lot of these things, it's going to take you maybe, you know, a week. You only have 52 weeks in a year. You know, if you want to get higher up the levels, if you want to fully understand just like music and you're like really working at it every hour of every day, it's going to take you like at least a good 6 months. And music's just one thing in this world. How many things? So there are millions of things. There are millions of things in this world, and we don't know half of anything. And all we really have is Google, and we like to praise Google as like this great thing. And I mean, it is for a lot of reasons. It gives us a lot of knowledge, but at the same time, there's just not enough. And the way the search engines promote certain things, especially through advertising and paid promotion, you just can't tell whether you're getting bullshit or you're getting, you know, real information. It's a really worrying thing. But here's the thing, like I was trying to get at with the quantum stuff, is that everyone likes to assume that they know what's going on because they can just look it up and then they can find some article that says, yeah, this is what this means. But how do we know that that article is right? I mean, I was thinking about the double slit experiment and photons, because I always assumed that the double slit experiment was like, oh, well, you observe these electrons, they change their form from material to wave or molecule to wave, but maybe it's the interaction of the photons, the light photons, that are actually changing its state. Now, I don't know how much I believe this, because as far as I know, there are photons literally everywhere. But at the same time, how do I actually know that? Do I know it through Google? Can I trust Google? Can I trust the top search results? Can I trust this Quora answer or that Quora answer? Which Redditor should I go by? The one with the most upvotes? Or is that just the most mainstream opinion? Or the most mainstream opinion inside that specific subreddit? For example, if I go on like r/shrooms or something and ask, hey, does anyone here believe in God? The most upvoted, you know, one would probably be, yes, I do believe in God, and here's why I saw him, etc. If you go on Ask an Atheist, r/Ask an Atheist, the top upvoted one would be, no, and here's why, and then they give their scientific opinion. So, you know, you're biased through everything, and you can't really know everything, so you have to specialize, it seems. You have to really specialize yourself in knowing what you know, But the issue is you could specialize in something and just be completely wrong about that thing. And is that a depressing existence? So what can we know, and how do we know that we know it? Well, we know it through the felt presence of direct experience. But what is the empiricism in that? For example, I'm going to talk about psychedelics a lot. The felt presence of direct experience with psychedelics can say, well, I met God, therefore God exists. But did you meet God? That was your experience, but scientifically, was that your actual entering into a different dimension and seeing God, or was it, in fact, molecules in your brain and electrons spinning at different rates and flickering in front of your eyes, and you only thought you saw God? Now, I would highly doubt that, but I don't know, because Google, you just cannot trust Google, and I cannot trust r/shrooms either to give me the answer. Nor can I trust Terence McKenna, even though I've read his books and they're very good. He was wrong about the 2012 being the end of the world, so what else was he wrong about? And scientists, prominent scientists, have been wrong about a lot of things. Einstein was consistently wrong about a lot of things. Or am I thinking of Stephen Hawking? I think it was Einstein who said, here I go again, I don't know. Was it Einstein or Stephen Hawking who said that black holes weren't real and then they discovered one? It was one of those two people, but they seem like smart people, but they were wrong about that. So even the ones who specialize are quite wrong quite often. So what do we know? Well, here's the thing. I don't think that animals were really meant to know. I don't think that us as animals, or any animal or any plant, any, conscious thing, sorry, my fingernails are disgusting, or we're meant to know anything. Like, how can we be so arrogant to assume us as our, primal, us primates were supposed to know the design of the universe, the divine design, if you will, because I think that's the name of this channel. I don't know yet. Yeah, so interesting stuff to think about. Does anyone know anything? Well, I feel like I do know a lot about music, for example, because when I play that and it sounds nice, I can go, that sounds nice, and then other people will say, yeah, that does sound nice. But in terms of more complicated things like quantum physics, it's pretty hard to know stuff. So I don't know what the point of this video was, other than to say, do we know anything? I don't really think so, not for sure anyway. But here's the moral of that story, is that we should be okay with not knowing, because we weren't meant to know. All we were meant to do is exist and experience it. So this is what we should be doing, like I am doing now. Look at this beautiful forest, and look at these trees and shrubbery and stuff, and the sun. It's beautiful out here, and it's summertime, and it's always beautiful. And it's impressive how much fun you can have just being alone and being in nature and not knowing anything. And we shouldn't have to worry about not knowing anything, because it's all okay. Because what's not knowing gonna do? Well, I mean, if you're like in like political circles, if you don't know like basic economic stuff, and then you like start voting for the wrong person, that might hurt a lot of people. But in terms of like, does God exist? It's okay to not know. And it's also okay not to know what the hell's going on with those electrons, because does it matter? It might matter, but not for a really long time. And not right now. But that's another question. I might do another video on that. Should we be like really trying to know stuff? Because although we weren't supposed to know, we're not really programmed to know. We're not really programmed to do anything, but we're not programmed to know that for sure. Is it worth trying? Is that gonna increase our chances of having a conscious evolution? And is that something we even want? What is a conscious evolution? What is a conscious evolution? I always hear people talking about it. Riding the waves of time towards the shores, just as the fish did to evolve onto land, evolve legs from their flippers and lungs from their gills, and adapt. Is that real? Let's ask Google, I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching my long tangent, if you did watch it, and I hope to see you again if I remember how much fun I had making this, because it was fun. Thank you.